Before I finish taking this apart, I want you to notice something. See that moving in and out there? I'll bring you in a little bit closer. Maybe it'll help you to see it better. See that shaft going in and out? I'm wondering if we get rid of that play, if that'll help, at least help get rid of the rest of the play. They make one of those drivers that doesn't lose its things like that all the time. I haven't found one. Now it's nice, it has a good spacer inside there along with the bearing, so there's plenty of support for that shaft. That's a good thing. Now look at that. I could put a spacer in here and I could put a spacer in there. If I was able to hold that like that, still quite a bit of play there. The other thing I'm wondering, yeah, there's quite a bit of play in the this setup here. The problem is that with that is a bronze gear. I don't know how I could ever do this. Those spacers in wouldn't be a big deal. See, this is a bronze gear here, and how am I ever going to build up that if I had a way to, I'd have to have a way to machine it afterwards. I wonder if moving this up or down would make a difference. So I'm thinking I get rid of this end play here and this end play here. And then if I were able to pull this up like this, so rather than the worm gear riding in the middle of that gear, remember there's not a lot of wear going to be on this because this is steering, it's not an auger anymore. Yeah, I think if I put a spacer under that and push that gear up so that it wasn't riding in the middle of the concave, let me show you what I mean. See the concave in here? That's where that worm gear rides. So if I slide the worm gear either down or up on this, these pieces here stick out more. So I'm thinking if I, how am I going to do that? I would have to add, probably the easiest way would be add it on the bottom. I have to slide that up just ever so, like that. So it was catching more down in here rather than in the middle. That would certainly help. So if I took this spacer off of here, if I can get my fingernail under there. One of you guys that don't have shaky hands, come and give me a hand here for a minute. So if I take this, come on, get it up there, George. There we go. Take that right out of there. Got to pull this key out so I can slide this in. Drop it down inside, why don't you, George? So if I put this spacer on here first, then put my key in, like that. Probably going to have to grind a little bit off of one end of the key so it'll get all the way down in there, don't you know? Yeah, won't quite go in there. I'm going to grind a little bit off the end, then I can get it to slide down in further. Hold on to your hats. Okay, so I ground a little bit off the end there. Let's see what happens. That should give us enough so that I can put this in place. If you don't have shaky hands, it's a whole lot easier to do this stuff. There. Okay. Now let's see if our gear will go down in here. Remember, this is not a bushing that's going to be there. Put some extra grease on this side where it's actually going to be riding on the bushing up in the top. And one thing I like about this is has got a O-ring insert all the way around. Now, I got to come up with a bushing for this end here and one to go in this end here. See, one in here. So hold on to your hats and I'll bring you back. Okay, so I found two little washers, bushings, whatever you want to call them, that I think are going to make up the right distance, and they fit in there nice and snug. So this will get pushed against the shoulder right in here, so all of the pressure will be pushing back up, let's see what happens. I got to get this seal out of the way here first. See what happens. Get that down in there. Might be a little bit too much. Okay, so remember I had one of my spacer washers was concave or convex, depending on which side you were looking at. I took it on my little anvil and I hammered it a little bit and flattened it out, and that was just enough. So now it goes in there and we have virtually no play back and forth. So I'm thinking it's going to work. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping. I'm going to put my seal back into place. To find the right place. It has a notch here on each side. Goes in like that, I believe. Now I'm going to wipe this off. Like, we're not really worried about this leaking much because, as I pointed out, this isn't going to be spinning at any high rate of speed. It's a steering box now, not a auger drive, so it's not going to have, you know, 2,500 RPM or 3,000 RPM on it. So, get that wiped off. Okay, one of you guys want to hold that while I wipe the other side off. See if I can do this one-handed. I'll bring you back in a couple of minutes. Yeah, we raise chickens, but obviously the chickens like to have company once in a while. Most of them are already back in perching. When we came down, they came out to visit us out in the run. My wife said this guy was in the run before. This is a rat snake. They're a common snake in our area. They're not poisonous. But like any snake, they can bite, even if they're not poisonous. I have picked one out of the nesting box already once. And I have a picture that I'll post here of him in there with his mouth around an egg. They're supposed to eat rats and mice. We got lots of mice. Doesn't look like he's eaten any lately because he's pretty slim looking. Do your job there, buddy. Tennessee rat snake. See how it fits on the steering column. Okay, I'm sitting in the seat and I have my bracket temporarily set in place it's not welded. You got to make sure you get your setups right before you start welding everything permanently. I did last time and I wasn't able to use it, but that's okay. Now I think we're going to have it set right about like that. My feet are on both pedals here, and so let me see if I can set you down. I should have left you on the tripod, I guess. But I'm going to try and set you in my lap, or maybe on my knee, or maybe I can set you on the rear wheel. How's that? See how that works out. That ain't going to work because I can't reach it. Well, the point I want to make is that I have my steering pretty well set up. And once I get this all welded together so it doesn't move up and down like that, we won't have any play at all in our wheel. You know what I'm saying? So our modification to the steering box down there worked, which I'm very glad for, because I didn't want to have to start over again from scratch. So I'll bring you back once I get my bracket all welded in place here and down the bottom. This is one of the wrenches that came in my tool haul from the auction yesterday. Hold on to your hats. We'll be right back. Okay, well, Bonehead forgot to turn off the argon the last time he used his welder. And from sitting all this time, it's drained out and I don't have any. So I did get a little bit of a tack at the top, enough that if I hold the bottom, you can watch the steering wheel and see that we have positive response. There's still a little bit of play in the steering column because of my bonehead move. So that's the wrap up on our steering refurbishing and the adjustment on our steering box. So you know, if you need to make a modification, you can do it too. And our steering column is a piece of tubing with brass bushings, both top and bottom. You can see the bottom one there. And I've polished it up some, but probably going to paint it silver to match the steering box. And there is, if I could slide this down, get you down in there. Now you can see that there is a bronze bushing up there too. Bronze top and bottom. You can see the weld there, and it's because of no argon. Yeah, well. Anyway, till next time, this is George, the Shade Tree Fixer Man, saying thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, thumbs up, sharing, all them good things. And it's a good day when you can get a project accomplished. Thanks for watching. Bye now.